Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here, also joined by my friend and business partner, Sean Casey. If you can hear my voice and see my screen, which is just essentially a PowerPoint, just say a quick yes in the chat box, just so I make sure I'm not chatting with myself here, just in case. All right, lots and lots of yeses. All right, good. I always ask that because there was actually one time years ago that for whatever reason it didn't show my screen right, and I was actually talking with myself for like a good 5 minutes until I realized something was up there. So always good to look ahead of time. So with that, have a pretty exciting call for you right here. This will be basically training that we think you can apply to almost everything, but we want to show you some like hands-on stuff using some actual examples. And it will be about how to use WebFire to essentially get lots of traffic, leads, and sales to essentially any kind of free offer that you have, or you can apply it to really any offer. We'll just show how you can kind of use this using a handful of free offers, which can lead into sales and such. So pretty neat stuff. And don't feel like if you have like your own business that's slightly different than the examples given, that's not the point. The point is, hey, you can kind of see exactly what we would do, what we would say, how we would use the tools to basically accomplish getting more leads and traffic and sales. And then you can either apply it to basically your own stuff, or you can essentially mimic exactly what we do with the same basically kinds of offers and such. So without further ado, we can get the show on the road. So once again, my name is Brian Kaz, and you might hear from Sean a little later as well. And this is all about how to use WebFire to essentially promote free stuff to get free traffic, leads, and sales. So as many of you know, WebFire is a really awesome set of web-based tools to get you more traffic, leads, rankings, exposure, and sales to almost any offer that you have, whether it's a free offer, whether it's a paid offer, whether it's a service, whether it's an ebook, whether it's a physical product, whatever it might be. It has lots of tools that basically cover everything from ranking higher in the search engines, basically defining leads already looking to often get what you could offer them without ever even ranking yourself. There's even some that allow you to get lots of free publicity, some to help you run social media, and so much more. So like a whole bunch of basically web-based tools to help you run an online business and get leads and traffic and sales and such. So lots of different uses, and we'll be showing off several of those. But rather than just basically talk about what it does, we wanted to do something kind of hands-on with some hands-on training to show you what we would basically do using WebFire to essentially promote some free offers of ours. So all of these offers are ones that we have inside of the Profit Partner Program, which many of you are already members of. But don't worry, as whether you're a member of the Profit Partner Program or not, you can apply this essentially training here to any kind of offer that you have. We'll just be using the examples of a handful of funnels that we have just to show examples of how we use it to get basically traffic and such. Now, before we dive into live examples of using WebFire to promote these free offers, let's basically take a quick look at what the example offers will be, or what some of them might be right here. So you can kind of see, hey, what are the actual offers and what would we do to get traffic there on the free side? So inside of the Profit Partner Program funnels, there are several different kinds of funnels. And here's a few of them that can be basically given out. One is the free funnel maker software. This is basically software that helps you build and basically analyze and plan funnels. So if you want to see, hey, what would happen if you add an upsell or a downsell or a few upsells? What happens if you change or basically optimize the conversion rates, or if you change around the price points and the conversion rates with that? You can play around with all sorts of funnels. It even has some built-in like a handful of pre-existing ones. And you can kind of get an idea of like, hey, what happens if I were to spend X amount on ads? What would happen if I did this or that? And you can get an idea of if your business model is good or not. And I've actually played around with this software a lot. And what's really awesome about it is before you build, like an offer of your own or anything, you can kind of see like, hey, what might that look like? And sometimes you're like, hey, this could be an awesome offer, but then when you run the numbers, you're like, oh, actually, this might kind of suck. Or you can see like, hey, this is basically my current model. What would happen if I added an upsell here or downsell here, did this and that? You can get like an estimation of how much it might make, and what little differences can really make a major difference in the end. In fact, you can go from, if you use basically a tool like that, you can go from seeing how you can have maybe an offer that might lose you money to one that makes a lot just by making a handful of easy changes. So a pretty awesome offer to actually give that out for free. So we'll show how we might get some traffic there. Another offer we have, or another funnel, is the free news poster trial with a free $5 offer for essentially trying it out. So this is another offer that we have where we basically give out a trial, and it's a free trial to some news poster software, which is basically a way where you can basically type in a handful of keywords and stuff, and it will basically post relevant news, essentially post articles and stuff, essentially on your blog or your social media sites for you to make it look like you have a blog or a Facebook or Twitter account that's actually being used and actually is updated. And what's really neat here is it's a free trial that we basically push in this funnel here. And when someone basically signs up for free to try it, they can get paid $5 from us just for basically trying it out. So just for basically using it. The reason why we pay $5, regardless if they ever buy it or stay on, as long as they use it once, is we know that, hey, it encourages guys to sign up, and if they actually use it, it encourages them to stay on more. So, kind of like one of those things, once you use it once, you're more likely to continue to use it versus, if you never open the software, if you never use it, you're less likely to stay on. And with our, with those that are members of the Profit Partner Program, they don't have to pay the $5 themselves. That's actually paid by us, so they can give out the trial, they can get paid on that, and their, all of their referrals can get paid the $5 out of our own pockets. Another offer we have, which will show examples of how we drive basically traffic there, is the BizFire Business and Analyzer Survey Tool. This is one where basically you answer a bunch of questions, like if you have a business, if you don't have a business. If you have a business, it'll ask stuff like, how much you make, what's your average price point, what's your highest price point, how many upsells, downsells you have, and like a whole bunch of questions like that. And it will actually tailor some recommendations and tips based upon the answers that you give, and it gets really specific. So it might see that, hey, you might be making, let's say your business, and you're making like $7,000 a month or so. It might say, hey, currently you're making about $7,000 a month. With a handful of changes based upon your answers, we feel like you could easily add about $5,000 a month just in upsells. You could also do this, and that to make this much more, and yada yada. And then it gives a breakdown of what all those tips are. So it tells them like how much we think that they could actually make more based upon their answers, and then a breakdown of what we think they should do to accomplish that based upon the answers that they gave. And it actually gives them specific answers and specific tips based upon their business, and then it can recommend a handful of resources and tools to basically help accomplish that. And the last one is we have another funnel, and this is these aren't all the funnels, there are more. These are just some of the main ones. Is we have a free best-selling book on essentially 50+ tips and essentially tricks learned after basically 20 years and 100 million in online sales. So we can give out a book that has a lot of value, a lot of tips on it, and when they sign up, not only will that establish you as like an authority, but there's also the chance for additional upsells and stuff there. And on that note, all of these are free offers that have upsells and backends that can actually make hundreds to even thousands off a single free lead. So it's not just that we're giving out free software to be nice or a free book to be nice. All of them have some kind of like a handful of upsells and such that can make additional money. Now, some of these upsells will be lower end price points, like some might be like a $7 plan, some might be like a free trial into some reoccurring offers where we want to get them to sign up for like a free basically trial, which leads into like a monthly fee. Some might be as high as there's some that are like $1,000 a year. There's some that are even a few thousand a year, and in some cases even more. So a lot of money can be made from a single lead. And usually with all these funnels, once they sign up or once they register for their free software, for instance, they'd see, a few upsells into relevant things. And then after that, even if they don't buy anything, so if they skip all that, over, days and weeks and months later, they'll see, lots and lots of additional offers. They'll get mailed additional offers for, additional tools and resources and stuff like that, where even if no one buys something on day one, some of those guys might buy, some random various products later on. And the members of basically Profit Partner Program get basically paid on all that stuff, regardless if they buy stuff up front through the upsells or if they buy way later. And that's so you really want any kind of upsell or funnel of yours to really look like. You don't want to just have a single offer. I see a lot of people make the mistake of they try to get rich selling a $7 book, and that rarely works. I'm not saying it can never work, but I'm saying it's like really fighting a major uphill battle. It's kind of like saying, is it possible to, survive a plane crash when, you lose your winds and the engine cuts out and you're over the ocean? Probably not, but there might be a rare exception that someone might. So I'm not saying you can't make a ton off just like a $7 offer, but I'm saying it's very unlikely and hard. So that's why you want to have a funnel kind of like this here. And that's why with the Profit Partner Program, we try to basically help with just that there. So let's actually dive into WebFire now to basically see exactly how we might basically market or promote some of these offers for free, which can basically apply to anything again. So, regardless if you have the program or you want, the program, or if you're, selling completely different offers, you can apply all the lessons here to basically anything that you want. But we're just using our funnels just as an example to help with that. So I'm just going to pause the screen for a second as we jump into WebFire to show how we would get basically traffic and leads to some of those offers there. Okay. All right, just pulling up the browser real quick here. All right, just need to refresh a page really quick. All right. Here we are inside of WebFire. And one of the first things you see is that there's, a lot of stuff here. We have a lot of basically training here. We have like a breakdown if you want to just get like ranked for stuff, or if you want to use lead tools. We have a breakdown of basically trainings and walkthroughs and that. We have some jumpstart essentially training here and a bunch of free basically traffic training. So, lots and lots of training. And we also have like a getting started app. So lots of stuff that you can easily do to get started. We have tons and tons of ongoing training right here, where we have probably like 150 past actual calls that we've done So that's just a breakdown of the training, but we have a bunch of different basically tools that would basically categorize. So we have like a handful of SEO and keyword tools, like we have a website analyzer. We have a handful of keyword tools to basically analyze keywords. We have some rank basically trackers. We have a tool to fix, all the issues with your site. We have stuff to analyze your site. We have stuff to do schemas and stuff. You don't have to worry about most of that stuff there, but it's all stuff that can greatly help you to rankings and stuff like that. On the flip side, we also have a handful of other tools, like we have a handful of content tools to make and submit videos, to make and submit content. We also have a handful of lead tools to find leads out there, oftentimes some already looking to get what you could be offering them. So this is a great one that we'll show some examples of. Then we have some social media essentially tools as well, including ones to find leads on social media and ones to kind of put your social media on autopilot. So there's a bunch of different things that you could do here. But let's take an example here. Like, let's say that you want to push basically traffic to your offer of the free funnel maker software of ours, or to the free WebFire business analyzer tool. Okay, so let's say you want to send basically traffic to one of those offers. What you would do is one of the things you could do is we could try to, there's two main ways of doing it. We could try to get basically traffic from like an SEO point of view, or from basically getting essentially content out there in rankings, or we could get leads for those and reach out to those leads. So we'll show an example of what we might do here. So if I wanted to rank for some stuff there, one of the first things that I do is I would basically type in a keyword like start a business. If you're trying to target those that are looking to start a business or something along those lines. And then this is inside of the main keyword tool. And what is neat with this is you basically type in a keyword and it finds 50 related words, or up to basically 50. And it will give like a breakdown of how competitive those words are. So in some cases, it might be like super competitive, where the lower the score is, the more competitive it is. If it's 100, that means it's much easier. If it's like essentially 20, that means it's like insanely hard. And it gives you a breakdown of what basically the keyword is, what the exact amount of estimated monthly searches is for those that basically type in the exact phrase, and then a broad estimate, which are those that basically type in the phrase with either some words before or basically after it. And to make it super easy, the harder to rank for words we have in red, the easier ones we have in green. So you can see here, there's some, like one right here has 15,000 exact searches a month and a broad reach of over 300,000, which is very much easier to rank for compared to some up here that have even less searches, but are much more hard to rank for right there. So one of the things that you could do then is you could start a blog, or you can make like a video or something like that to basically target a handful of the easier to rank for words. And you can write a blog post where you have basically the keyword that you're attempting to rank for somewhere in the blog post title, or in the video title, if you're on YouTube, and also in the content and the description itself, which again, WebFire can help you optimize all that stuff right there. And then what's really neat with this is, if you were to do like, let's say, one blog post a week where you basically target a different easy to rank for word, over time, you can start to get decent amount of traffic going basically to your blog or to your video or whatever it might be. And you don't just have to use a keyword like start a business or anything like that. This is just an example. There's literally probably like thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of keywords that you could use there. But in the blog post itself, how you'd get the traffic to the funnel maker or to the business analyzer is, you would have basically an article relevant to a keyword that you have, like maybe maybe right here it could be like best business to start with little money or small business ideas from home, something along those lines. You can write an article about that, and then in the article or in the blog post, you can recommend the link to the funnel, to the free software to help, like to the free business analyzer or to the free funnel maker, and you can say how that can help basically analyze their business idea or help get them started, or how they can basically build out a funnel and why that's important. And over time, that can basically add up to be a lot of traffic. Now, even if you do like one blog post a month, even, or if you outsource that for like, if you get a person to write that for like $5 or $10 or so, it can really start to basically add up over time. But the key is to start with an easier to rank for word. Otherwise, it's much essentially tougher. The other thing that you can do on the SEO point is, once you have a site or like a blog made, you can see what you might have to do to get better rankings. So let's say you have a blog, and this is just an example one right here. And let's say I want to rank for like a longer tail keyword, like basically quick methods to rank on page 1 of Google, or something like rank on page 1 of Google, or something along those lines. This is an example search right here. I would basically type in the keyword, and then I would basically paste in the link, like right here. And you'd want the link to be the link to the exact blog post or to the exact page. So not just the main domain, but basically to the exact page or blog post at hand, like you have right here. And this will do is it will basically analyze for you, and it will tell you if you have a good chance or a bad chance of ranking. Like right here, it says, hey, you have an excellent chance of ranking if you target it on your site. It says, like, well done, you have the keyword in your title tag. If you don't know what a title tag is, or are clueless on that, doesn't matter, because if you didn't, it'd have a little button here called fix, and you can click that, and it can automatically help you fix that. It says, uh-oh, you don't have the keyword in your description tag, which is the black basically text that shows up under the blue link when you do like a Google search, whereas the title tag is usually what's in the blue search or link when you do a Google search. But if you don't know what that is, it doesn't matter. You can click right here and fix that. And it gives you a whole bunch of other info. And basically, if you're missing something that it thinks you should have, you can fix it right here. But like it says, uh-oh, you don't have the keyword mentioned on the site other than title there. So you can fix that right here. Uh-oh, you don't have a sitemap, which is like a table of contents. You can fix that right here. And it says, oh, nice job, you have a schema. If you didn't, you could easily fix that. It says, hey, you have a handful of images, but some are missing basically image alt tags, which every basically graphic you have on your site can have like a keyword or like a name associated with it. And if the graphics have a keyword that's relevant to what you're trying to rank for, and if the graphic is relevant as well, you have a much higher chance of ranking that page, and in some cases ranking the graphic as well, which is very powerful. And we allow you to actually change that and actually edit those right here quickly and easily. And it also gives like a handful of other details, like info on backlinks and social media, if you have like a presence there, or what what your backlinks look like, and a lot of advanced stuff right there. But most people, I'd say like 95% will just look at this right here and not even bother with the rest of the tabs here. There's also an advanced setting if you're like a geek and you're big into SEO. There's a lot of like super advanced rundowns and stuff there as well. But here, if you're at essentially 80% or more, that's very good. If you're like higher than 60, that's decent but not great. So we're like in like the decent but not great right here. So that page could be essentially tweaked to be better optimized. And what's neat is you don't have to be an SEO expert, you just have to know how to click fix. That's what's really great about that right there. And if you don't want to use the analyzer tool first, you actually can just use the SEO configuration tool, which can help with that. Or we actually have available plugins for WordPress and Blogger that can automatically help with a lot of that stuff as well. So that's what makes it super awesome. Another thing that you can do, on the SEO side, which is really neat, and this is a newer thing that I want to show off. It's a great way to actually gain a lot of easy rankings. So we have something called the Schema markup tool. And most of you, if you know what Schema is, you're probably used to seeing it used on like a local business, which would basically just look like this. It's a way where you show up on basically the top of Google for like, usually like a local business, and we'll give like a number. If you're a restaurant, like a click to see a menu, a click to basically order. It'll give your business hours and stuff like that. And although we can definitely this is a very useful feature for like local businesses. That's not relevant with the examples that we're showing right here. But there is a newer schema which is completely relevant. So again, we make it super easy to do all sorts of different schemas. And the one that I think is really useful is basically a Q&A schema. So basically, if you've ever done a search on Google, in fact, I'll just pause it for a second as I pull up an example here. All right, so here's a great example I just pulled up right here. I just want to make sure that it looked good right here. All right, so here's an example I just pulled up. I just want to make sure that it had essentially Q&A showing up. But I had to search for how to start a business. And after a few ads, which you'll see right here, and you can tell these are ads because they say essentially ad on them, at the very, very top, above all the normal rankings, you see an answer. And that is actually from a site, in this case, from an SBA site right here. And it gives like a partial preview. So if you wanted to read the rest of it, you'd have to click right here. But you also see some similar questions, like how can I start my own business with no money? And if you click that, you see a preview of it right there. And it's from another site. In this case, it looks like basically Girl Boss, which is probably, my guess is a blog on how to make money from a girl who's in charge of it, I'm guessing. What is the easiest business to start? You can click that right here, and you see like another breakdown right there, and you see a site that it essentially came from, and you can click right there to go basically to that site. So many of you have probably seen these where basically Google tries to answer your question ahead of time. Well, one of the ways that you can basically do that is by having the Q&A schema. So Google will oftentimes try to accomplish this themselves a little bit, but if you help them along, you're far more likely to appear as the answer. And all you have to basically do, there's some advanced options, but all you have to basically do is you have to basically type in the question that you think your web page or your article or your blog post or your site answers. So you basically type in the question, and then you can basically enter a date that you think you answered the question or that the page addressed it. So it's not important. You can make up almost anything there. You can skip the rest of the stuff there, and then you can leave that blank if you want. Or, and if you leave it blank, Google will basically do its best job to see if your page answers it and show an answer based upon the page. Or you can give a accepted or suggested answer right here. You can like basically paste in the content from your site. In most cases, if you just leave it blank, and just by having basically the question and the date, it will automatically pull the answer from your site right there, and it will mention your site to get more information on. So that's what's super awesome with this right here. And you can add as many suggested answers as you want and such. But again, you can skip that step. I sometimes just add the suggested answer just in case. But this is a great way for you to show up as the suggested answer at the very top of Google as the first basically organic result. So what you can do here, bring it back to how you'd get essentially traffic, is if you have a blog that has a handful of like business related questions and stuff that you're basically answering, and all these blog posts that you're starting to basically rank for, you can have any of the questions that you think a blog post of yours basically answer. You can basically type in the questions here, and then put the link to the site in question, and Google will actually be far more likely to show your site at the very top. And if your site gets more views, people are more likely to land on it, and they're more likely to see you suggesting, like, the free funnel maker or the free business analyzer tool or something along those lines, and that can drive a lot of traffic over time to your offer. And again, even if you do like one blog post a month and you just basically add the Q&A schema, which again, this software tool here makes it super easy to basically do. You can add the schema straight into WordPress or straight into an HTML site, or if you want to do it by hand, you can make the code and basically copy and paste it in. That's all up to you. But again, super easy, especially if you have WordPress or any other HTML site. It can basically add it straight in without you having to be a techie. So very, very useful and very, very neat at the same time. So that's one of the things that you could do right there. Another thing that you could do is you could basically post essentially stuff up on your social media. So if you have like, or and again, like if you have a Facebook account or basically Twitter account, on Facebook you can make a Facebook page or like a Facebook group and stuff, and you can post relevant stuff on that page, but it takes some time to basically do. So instead, you can put that on essentially autopilot by writing the posts ahead of time, and you can have it. You can write a single post that basically goes to all your Facebook pages, goes to all your Twitter accounts, everything you want, all at once right there. And what you can do is basically paste in like easy messages where especially if you're giving out software, just mention the software. Like you can say, hey, if here's a really awesome tool that can help basically analyze a business, and blah blah blah. In fact, I think I actually have a couple examples here. See if I can pull it up really quick right here. All right, so here's some examples I just have right here. So if you were to basically give out, let's say the free WebFire business analyzer tool, like one of our funnels, we might just say, hey, if you have an existing business or even just interested in starting one, this is a super cool tool that can help basically analyze it for you to give you suggestions on what you can basically do or essentially change to make more money, or where to start if you're brand new. And then you'd give the link right there. And then you could have another post scheduled where it can maybe be for the free funnel maker or the free book or whatever offer you have, or the free, like we have the news poster trial with the free $5 offer. You can basically post it up on there and follow basically templates that we have that make it super easy to drive essentially traffic from the social media to your offers or to your funnels or links. Now we're using the funnels as examples in the Profit Partner Program, but again, you can use for anything that you want right there. And you can post as many messages as you want. You can schedule these out if you want to be like once a week, once a day. If you also want to say, hey, I want to have this be once a week for basically 10 weeks, and then you want it to rinse and repeat itself, you can do that. So you can set it up to indefinitely post for you over and over and over again. Another thing that you can do is you can search for leads. So you don't just have to get rankings. You don't have to make videos or blog posts. You don't have to post on social media if you don't want to. You can also find leads using WebFire. So here's a few examples of stuff that you could do. So one of the tools we have is basically Q&A lead software tool right here. And let's say you were selling something to do with SEO, or let's say you want to give like the WebFire business analysis tool out, which can help basically analyze a business and help give SEO suggestions and stuff. or let's say you sell a service where you do SEO, like you use WebFire to do SEO for people. You could search for a keyword as simple as SEO, or if you're wanting to search for basically internet marketing or start a business or any term like that, you can search for. And then you search, and it'll search the top Q&A sites, and it'll find lots of answers where people are basically asking questions related to basically SEO. And then you can click any of those, and you can choose to basically answer them. Now, the key when answering is, you want to basically provide value first and foremost. Like, you don't want to just say, buy this software here. Here's my link. Get this free. That comes off as spammy. You want to basically say, like, if someone's saying, like, what is search engine optimization? An easy answer, which also basically promotes your stuff, might be, what I might say here is like, hey, search engine optimization, or basically SEO for short, is the practice of essentially tweaking your site or optimizing your site to have a better chance of ranking on page 1 of Google and other search engines for basically keywords that you think are relevant basically to your site, and that essentially you think that your site would help basically answer people's questions and searches, or basically get them what they want to search for. Something along those lines right there. And then say, maybe give like a handful of tips, like say, hey, one of the easiest things is to make sure that basically keyword that you're attempting to rank for is actually relevant to basically the site that you have, and your site actually answers and addresses it well, and that it's not too competitive, of a keyword, especially if you're just starting out. You want to make sure you have it in your title tag and used, on the content of your site. And then this is where you can get to kind of the promotion part. If you want to send them to like the BizFire analysis tool, you might say, hey, this is a free software tool right here that can help basically analyze your site and business, that you might want to check out and help with that. Or if you wanted to, let's say, basically sell or essentially promote WebFire, you could say, hey, if you don't want to hire an SEO guy, or it's too basically technical, after you give all that useful advice, you can also use an inexpensive tool like WebFire, which can help do a lot of that SEO for you. You just want to make sure, like, again, not to spam the links out. And I'll share like a couple tips on that as well. But let's go to an example of, like, let's say you have a search for like how to start a business or something along those. You might find a lead like this right here. This is essentially from Quora, and the question right here is, what are some ways to start a business? So if you were to basically click on any of these right here, it would go to basically site in question. So here's one. If you had a search for like I think this was from a search I had where it was start a business. Here's a person that's asking a question on that, asking some ways on how to start. If you want to basically answer, all you'd have to do is basically click on the answer. And Yahoo Answers and Quora, they're all similar. Like, they all have something where you click on like an answer, all pretty easy to follow there. You'd click answer, and then you would write your actual answer, like kind of like the example that I just gave. Now, if it's relevant to have a link in it, you can basically add one of the links to, like, the free offers or the free funnels or something like that. If you want, you can also, if you think the link wouldn't quite flow well, you could also choose to basically have like a little about you that would show up when you give an answer. Like in this case, I could say I'm the owner of webfire.com and blah blah. So you could have a link that you have show up next to your name, where you don't even have to have it in the answer, which can fall like completely under the radar, where you're basically giving a link out without appearing too spammy. But I'd say, like, rule of thumb is, if the link is relevant to the question, you can have it in the answer. If it's not as relevant, just have it in like your about info. And where that would be is like, that would show up like right here. You see this guy right here. So this part can have your link or your business or anything that you want in it right there. So you can kind of fly under the radar to have a link, even if it's not completely relevant to the answer. But usually I try to find ones that would be relevant here. So this is just an example right here. So that's one way of going about that. And if you do even like let's say like 15 minutes a week, where you just set this up to find new questions, and you take 15 minutes to basically answer them, because again, this can search for you every day if you want. You can basically type in the keywords and it can save the searches. So every day it can find new leads and alert you to those new leads. Super useful, even again with 15 minutes a week. I mean, if you can do like more, great, but even if you answer just like a few questions a week, here's the benefit. So it's not just that one lead that you help. Sure, you do help that one lead, but it's everyone that happens across the same question or asks the same or similar question or searches on Google and comes across that will see the answer that you gave. So that one lead might actually turn into dozens or even hundreds or thousands over the course of time, whether it be days, weeks, months, or even years in some cases. And just to really hit home on how truly powerful that this is, years ago, I was in Auckland, New Zealand, on like, I think like a business trip, and I had like a couple days off or I shouldn't say a couple days off. I had a couple extra days because I think I was speaking at like an event there. And in my free time, I thought, hey, it'd be fun to do some horseback riding in New Zealand, because there's a lot of very scenic land and stuff like that. So when I searched on Google, I found nothing for a horseback place. But then I did see there was a question ranked on Yahoo Answers where someone asked, a similar question like, is there a horseback riding place near Auckland? And I basically clicked that and saw that someone answered, presumably like an owner, that said, hey, there's one about a half hour outside, really nice trails, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I found out about this place. So the next day we basically go there, and a guy who I presume is the owner walks up and says, hey, how did you hear about us? And I said, well, I didn't find anything ranked on Google or anywhere, but I saw, there was a Yahoo Answers question that was ranked, and I basically clicked that, and that's how I found out about him. And he laughed and said, do you know what's kind of funny? And I said, what? He then said about essentially 2/3 to 3/4 of the people he asks that to tell him that they found him the same way. So that means from a single answer, 2/3 to 3/4 of his business found him that way. Now, I don't know exactly how much that would be worth, but I'm guessing a minimum of tens of thousands of dollars a year, maybe even $100,000 or more a year for basically answering a single question. So that's how powerful this stuff can be when you take action. I'm not saying that like every answer you give is worth like thousands of dollars or anything. In some cases, they actually can be. But it shows that if you do enough of these over time, you will get some big winners that truly can make a major difference over time. It's kind of like a spider web. The more answers that you actually answer, the more chance you have of basically grabbing leads and essentially traffic from all over. And the cool part is WebFire you can use here to like alert you to all these new opportunities, basically go to these sites and answer. And even if you like outsource this or just say, hey, I want to answer five a week, that can make a major difference for you. Another way to get leads is through another tool we have called the Ranked Lead Finder. So this is a very unique one that we actually is one of the tools that we actually have a patent on. And what it does is you basically type in a keyword. Like if I wanted to find let's say a good place to have like a link to the business analyzer tool or the free funnel maker or the free book offer, I could I might want to find those that are looking to start a business online, because that'd be like a perfect client, right? Well, I could basically type in a keyword like start a business online, and right here it would find dozens and dozens of related essentially keywords. And the cool part is when it does this, it only finds those sites that are ranked on page 1 of Yahoo or Bing that you can leave a post, a comment, or a reply on. So if you can't leave some kind of post, a comment, or a reply on, it will skip it. In this case, we found 517 leads. So if you were to do this by hand, to search this by hand, you'd be talking, this would be like easily an 8-hour day, if not more. Probably a couple to a few days of solid work to find what this can find in a matter of minutes. So I mean, truly, truly powerful stuff. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of leads there. And the estimated reach, so the estimated amount of traffic that you could get off that if you were to do all those would be over 16 million searches. The value of that is probably conservative, you know, if you were to answer all those, is over $126,000. And that's just the estimated reach in a single month. And what it does is it gives like a breakdown, like, hey, here's basically the website in question. Here's what it ranks for. Here's where it ranks in Google, what it ranks, like number 1 means it's the number 1 organic, number 3 means it's like the number 3 organic, the exact amount of monthly estimated searches, which is for the exact phrase, the amount of estimated reach, which is the phrase plus a keyword before or after it. And then it gives like a breakdown of the score and the value, and you can choose to sort from high to low or low to high and all that. Basically, the higher the score and the higher the value, the more likely it is to be worth more, the more basically eyeballs there are on that. So if you wanted to siphon traffic from start a business online as a number 1 ranking on Google, you can do that right here. You want to do it for, you know, let's say how to start an online business, rank number basically 2 on Google, you can do it right there. And these are all like blogs and forums and sites that allow basically comments and stuff, where all these, you know, all these ones allow some kind of a post, a comment, or a reply that you can do. So what you can do is you can basically click any of these links right here, go to basically a site in question, and they should all have some way to leave a post, a comment, or a reply on them. And you can leave a post, a comment, or a reply. And if you actually provide value, first and foremost, you can then drop oftentimes a link to your free funnel offer, because it's not like you're selling anything. It looks like you're just mentioning a free useful tool that they can get for free to help with something relevant to what they're trying to actually do. So the key is to actually provide value first and foremost, but that can do like a really amazing result of actually getting you a lot of traffic. Because here's why that's super, super powerful. It literally gives you a way to siphon traffic from page 1 of Google, Yahoo, and Bing without ever ranking yourself there. So if you want to, you know, start to basically siphon traffic from over 16 million searches a month, you can do it this way. Now, you don't have to like basically answer all these. If you save this search, it can alert you to new opportunities and new rankings that you can leave a post, a comment, or a reply on. And if you do even like a few a week or a handful a month over time, they can start to actually add up. I had a side business of mine. There's like a mobile text auto responder where I just had a worker of mine take just like a little bit of time to kind of go through some of the keywords and stuff that we didn't rank for, and just leave some posts, basically comments and replies on sites that did rank, that we could leave a post, a comment, or a reply on, which the software helps you find all those right here. We found that even years later, approximately 2/3 of all our sales, we estimate, actually basically come from that simple thing that he did years ago of, you know, siphoning traffic from other sites this way. So incredibly powerful thing that can work really well. Similar to basically that, we have another lead tool called the real-time lead finder. You can do right here, you can search for any kind of keyword you want. In this case, I just searched for start a business, and I actually had it in quotes. If you have it in quotes, it'll look for the exact phrase. If you don't have it in quotes, it'll look for words mentioned in close proximity, but not necessarily side by side. And I want leads that are only a month old or newer. You can have it be like a day or a week, or you know all time. A month is pretty good right there, because it gives you a decent amount without being that outdated or anything. And these are all the leads, and it will search forums and blogs, so not necessarily ranked, but it will search for forums and blogs, unlike the other tool, which is only ranked ones. And it's all the ones that are mentioning start a business, and you can get like a preview of the text of how they're mentioning it. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of them here. And you know, like you can kind of weed through it. Like some might be like specific, like here's one for how to start like a business as like a psychic reading. There's some more generic ones like how to start a business in general. So you can kind of weed through which ones you think are basically better for you. You can see a score and a value. Obviously, the higher that is, the more it's worthwhile for you. Then you can click basically here and leave a post, a comment, or a reply on those forums and blogs and siphon traffic, off of there as well. And these can be worth a lot of money over time, and you can be alerted to new opportunities just by saving a search. And every day it will search for new leads for you that basically pop up. You can even save a response as well, so you can quickly and easily copy and paste stuff in as well. You can also download this, and the other one is like a PDF report if you want to like outsource this or anything like that. That's perfectly fine as well. So again, you basically answer it in the exact same way, where again, you're giving value first and foremost, and then driving traffic to the free offer or the free funnels, because that's super easy, and like it doesn't look like you're just spamming them with links and such. Another thing that you can do is we have another tool to find leads on social media. So I'll just refresh this right here just to make sure, because I've been a little idle, so just want to make sure it does a new fresh search right here. And in this case, you basically type in words that you want to search for to find leads on social media. So right here, let's say I want to find those that are looking to start a business. I might have keywords like start a business, start an online business, new business, started a new business, started a business, any kind of words. I mean, I could brainstorm a lot more. This is just some right here. And then down here, I can choose to eliminate those that have links and those that are a reply, or those that are retweeted and stuff. So if someone's more likely to be a seller, I can eliminate those guys pretty easily right here, because if they have a link, they might be more likely to be a seller. You can also search by location if you want as well. I don't right here, because I don't basically care where these leads are. But I mean, if you're looking for local leads, you can easily pinpoint it down to, like, let's say within like essentially 10 or 50 miles or whatever you want from your location, or wherever you want right there. Then once you have the search term right here, you just basically click on leads, and you'll see a bunch of leads right here. And you see a bunch of people basically talking about leads, like about starting a new business or something like that. Like here's one that said that they just sent their first official client invoice for their new business. Wow, does that feel good? Someone has a new business plan here. Someone wants to start a business. Someone's excited about starting a new business. Someone that wants to start a business this year. So we see all these leads of people basically talking about how they want to start a business or something along those lines right there. Someone just got some new business cards in. So I mean, yeah, someone says they want to start, a business. So what's cool here is there's a few things that you could do right here. And what's neat is we limit this to 100 leads per basically page. So if you want more, you just click next 100 leads. And for something like this, my guess is there's anywhere from hundreds to thousands of leads a day like this right here. And this is just for, just a few of the keywords out there. There's, thousands of relevant words right here that you could use. But what you can then do is there's a few things. One is you can reply basically to the leads right here if you want. It links up to your account, and you want to do it in a non-spammy way. Like, don't just say, hey, get this here. There's two different things that you could do. One, if someone's saying, like, let's say, this person wants to start a business this year, you could reply saying, hey, I saw that you're looking to start a business this year. That's really awesome. I thought you might find that this is a super useful blog post right here on how to start, a business. If you had a blog post on how to start a business, and you could send them to your blog post, and on the blog post, it could later mention the link to the free software that they could get to basically drive them to your funnel. Or if it's more relevant, you could even drive them straight to the free software offer itself. Like if someone was basically asking a question like they're looking to grow a business or something like that, you could answer back saying, hey, that's real awesome. I found this tool here super useful to, basically analyze my business and grow it. And it can have, a link to like the WebFire analysis tool or to the funnel maker or something along those lines. So again, the key is to basically provide value first and foremost, and that can work really well. So that's one way of basically doing it. Another way is you can actually follow them. You just click right here. And the cool part is when you follow them, a lot of them will automatically follow you back. A lot of them have like the settings to basically do that, or they'll automatically do it anyway. And what you do then is you're building a social media list. So when they follow you back, when you do a post on your social media, even using the social poster fire tool inside of WebFire to do those posts, you're automatically increasing your chances that they'll see all those posts that you do. So it's like building a list almost overnight just by following them and letting them follow you back. You can also click here to get some like additional info, like how many friends and followers they have and stuff like that, if you want to kind of spy on them and get more stuff. So you can see like there's like a difference between like this person that just started and got their first client to, to all that. So yeah, like really neat stuff, and like a great way to literally build a list overnight and like really pinpoint super targeted leads. And it doesn't just have to be with like the free funnels and stuff. If you're selling like even high price point stuff, you can find guys that might be very good prospects and reach out and help them right there as well. So super great and easy way to kind of search for almost anything that you want. Now this can work for, again, almost anything. Like here's, go back to the keywords and stuff. I have another search I have here for some easy terms like get more sales, get more leads, get more traffic. So I'm trying to target those are maybe saying, hey, I'm looking to get more traffic or more leads or sales, something where all the software or even the free book offer might work really well, or the news poster offer, like any of those might work well. So I'll click leads right here to try to find those that are basically saying how they want to get more sales, leads, or traffic. We'll see what that looks like. Here's one right here saying that they want to get more traffic on their page. Here's one that wants to get more traffic to their YouTube channel. Here's one that wants to make more sales. And like a whole bunch of different things right here. So yeah, and again, like ones like this, like terms like that are more specific, so you won't get as many, but there's still like several each day or so right there. If we were to change this to like have like a whole bunch of more words like sales, leads and traffic, we'd get probably hundreds a day. Whereas like with the terms like start a business, this is one that probably gets hundreds to like, as you saw, like 1,000 plus a day right there. So it really depends on the keywords that you basically enter. But you can add as many additional ones as you want. Sometimes you have to do stuff to kind of like weed through some if you're too broad, but a great way to really pinpoint tons and tons of leads that you can help, because all these leads would be great leads for you. You can also search for those that have mentioned other known, marketers or basically sites or people in the field, knowing that, hey, if they're looking at that site or basically talking about that site or person, they're probably relevant to you. You can choose to follow them. A lot of them will automatically follow you back, and you can build a list almost overnight with that as well. So again, incredibly useful stuff. Now, and very useful in basically driving traffic to any of the funnels right here. Another thing that you can do, which is really awesome, if you're trying to drive basically traffic to, let's say you have the funnel inside a profit partner program of, the free best seller book on, 50 plus ways, or excuse me, I mean, 50 plus tips and tricks learned after, learned after basically 20 years and 100 million in sales online. If you want to send leads to like your book funnel like that, you can choose to use this right here, which is basically a guest blogging tool. It can find other sites that allow you to have guest blog posts on them, or that are more likely to. And so what it basically does is you do a search, like in this case, I had start a business, and I picked guest bloggers from right here. And after basically a couple minutes, it will show all these sites right here, which are ones that the artificial intelligence says, hey, there's some indication, like right here, that they allow you to submit a guest blog post. Like right here, what you can do is it will try to find to see if there's like an email address on the site itself. If so, it will have basically contact info. If not, it'll just say it does not have an email found. But in that case, you just basically click right here and you can go straight to where you can either submit the guest blog post or straight to where you can get info to kind of reach out to that place right there. So all these sites are ones that are basically indicated through the artificial intelligence, through the algorithm that we have, that they accept guest blog posts. So you can reach out and you see what their Alexa ranking is. The lower the score, the larger the site is. And you can see an estimated value of what a blog post might be worth there. Over time, so you see some can be worth a fortune because they're like very big blogs. So you can reach out to several of these at once if you want. It's a great way to, like, let's say you want to send links to your best seller book. You can do a guest blog post on maybe how to start a business, and if it's really, really good, you can have a link to where they can get the free book so they can enter into your funnel right there. And if it's a good quality, a handful of these places will accept that as a guest blog post and will make you an instant authority and also drive lots of traffic your way. I've seen guys also use this as like a service where they do this for basically others, and they sell this for hundreds of thousands of dollars a pop. So there's a huge amount of value right there, but can obviously work real well. Another thing that you can also do is you can spy on your competition and such and see where they get their traffic from. So in this case, if let's say I want to spy on Market Watch, which is like a big, huge like market and financial news site and business site, and I can have like a keyword like entrepreneurship or like anything like that. It'll give me some basic info like the average amount of backlinks and median backlinks and all that stuff right there. And then it can see where the top essentially 20 backlinks are. So like the top basically competitors, and you can reach out with essentially a contact button right here. And you can email them right here if you basically check off the addresses. And it will also, scrolling down here, it will tell you who the top competitors are. So this does a bit more. It will say, hey, these are the competitors. And what's really neat is if you click right here, it'll give a breakdown of where they get their backlinks from. So you can see where most of their backlinks come from. So this guy gets a lot from like big sites right here. You might get one like here, or has some other sites. So you get a breakdown of where they get their top backlinks from, and you can reach out to those guys there, or it will oftentimes pull up an email address here. It won't always have an email address, but it'll look on that site to see if there's any there. But if there's like a contact that will have an email address, and you can reach out or just go to those sites knowing that, hey, these are the competitors, these are where they get their backlinks, and you can maybe choose to try to do a guest blog post on some of those other sites where they get their backlinks and stuff on as well. So really incredibly powerful stuff, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like there's also stuff that we haven't even touched on, like there's ways where you can track your rankings, there's ways where you can make and optimize videos and submit those on autopilot. There's ways where you can create and distribute content, even more ways where you can find leads, but literally anything and everything you need to either rank or get basically traffic and leads, you can with this. So you saw several examples with the different funnel offers that we have inside the Partner Profit program, but again, you can apply that to everything. We just want to use that as an example right there. So I'm just going to pause it for a second as I switch on back to the screen. But and one last thing as a side note, if you're brand new, that's perfectly fine, because we even have like essentially getting started that just kind of walks you through a bunch of like yes no questions, like, hey, do you have a website? Yes, no. If you say yes, it will basically prompt you to add a domain name. If you say no, it will prompt you to some other tools. So even if you're brand new, it can walk you through stuff. And we also have tons of training to help you with all that too, regardless if you want to start with just leads or start with rankings or start with some of the other ways. We even have ways where you can like turn WebFire into a service if you want to market that. So, I mean, tons and tons of training and all that there as well. So I just want to pause for a second as I go back to the PowerPoint. All right. So a summary of WebFire. I know quite a lot of you have WebFire and have used it, but just in case there's some that have not, WebFire lets you basically analyze and rank for lots of different keywords. It also lets you fix all the SEO issues in a matter of minutes. You can find leads on basically Q&A sites, rank sites, forums, social media, and more that are interested in your offers. And you can gain tons and tons of publicity through its PR and research tools. You can also easily create, optimize, and rank for videos in minutes and much more. In fact, we also have a fairly big update basically happening later this month as well to do some even more stuff and make some of those tools even better. So we're always optimizing stuff, always making it better and better and better. We've been at this for like years and years and years. If by chance you don't have WebFire yet, there's a special deal that you can grab on this page right now, or you can watch the full replay or demo of it. We have a full webinar of it, not just showing off how we would optimize for, or how we would send basically traffic basically to the funnels, but how we do it to lots of other stuff. If you want to see a replay of it, or if you want to grab it, there's a special deal that you can get at getwebfire.com/now. Again, that's getwebfire.com/now. Sharon will actually post that up in the chat box as well. So once again, that's getwebfire.com/now. And if you haven't heard of, or you don't have the Profit essentially partner program, we want to give you like a kind of preview of that. We know a lot of you have probably seen this, but it's essentially the Profit Partner Program lets you, or essentially gives you, several free funnels that you can give away, including some free software, a free get paid $5 offer to basically try it out, where we pay, you don't have to pay, a best-selling co-author book, and much more. So the main thing is you can literally give out free software, build a list, and get all that monetized and get paid on that. You also get immediate upsells and back-end offers to promote a mix of lower priced, higher priced, and free trial offers to maximize your earnings. You also get back-end offers promoting on complete autopilot, so even non-buyers can actually turn into money later, with some offers literally making thousands a sale, and tons of training and support, so you can easily get lots of traffic and leads, whether it be to your own offer, if you're brand new, whether you go for free traffic or paid traffic. We have lots of training on that. So if you want to go the free traffic route, there's lots of stuff that can help there, including if you want to use WebFire, there's lots of ways to basically automate more of that. Or there's also training on on a handful of paid traffic ways as well. And there's no need to make your own offers with this, or test conversions, or spend thousands to tens of thousands of dollars doing any of that, because you get the optimized funnels for you. You get all the upsells and all that stuff. All that is handled for you, and you can make sales off that and get paid off that on the back end. So we actually handle all that stuff for you right there. You just get basically paid. You also get an easy way to build a list of your own if you want, and lots more. If you're not yet a member of the Profit Partner Program, you can actually check out the full replay and special pricing for a limited time right here. And that's just getcallinfo.com/partner. Again, that's getcallinfo.com/partner. And there's a replay of it that we'll have up for a little bit longer, that you can see like the full breakdown there, like an inside look at the funnels and all that stuff. Sean does a great job of basically breaking that all down right there. So if you're interested in that, you can still actually take advantage of the special pricing right there. So Sharon will also post up that link in the chat right here. Again, it's just getcallinfo.com/partner if you want to basically check out the Profit Partner Program, which we used as an example of how we get basically traffic using WebFire and such too. So there's a bunch of offers in there. We just showed a handful of how we basically do that right there. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can ask that now. I'll also get, actually, I also get both these links up. There's a person that just asked if they could see the links up. I'll get both these up for you right now. Just give me 1 second here. All right. There we go. All right, so the links mentioned were right there. So feel free to basically check out those. In the meantime, if you have any basically questions at all, feel free to basically ask now. We just want to show you kind of, we know there's a lot of members of WebFire with, either their own offers or with new offers, or some that also have basically profit partner program and vice versa. So we just want to show like how we would kind of get basically traffic, or just basically the tip of the iceberg using WebFire for that, which again, you can apply to any offer you want. But we thought it'd be super useful to kind of show some hands-on stuff right there. All right, kind of go through some of the questions we have here. Yes, John. In fact, yeah, you. In fact, I'll let Sharon write you back on that. All right. All right, let's see what else here. All right, there was a question here on WebFire, if like an antivirus, then would basically block it. It depends. Usually not, but occasionally, since we have a little desktop app that runs in the background, so you just have to allow that to basically run. If you have an issue with that, just write support, and they can easily help you get like around that right there. So that's not a problem right there. All right. All right, there is a question here on how would they send basically leads to their blog post. Well, a few ways. One, if your blogging question is relevant to the question that they're asking, or relevant to what they're saying, you would give a little useful info to start with, and then you just link to your blog post in a way where it comes off as non-spammy. Like if your blog post was on, let's say 5 easy ways to increase sales to your business. If there was a person asking a question on how they can increase sales, you can give like a couple tips, and then say there's a bunch of additional tips that you can find on this blog post right here. Something along those lines would work fine to send it to a blog post. But then on the blog post, you can have a link to like some essentially paid offer, or like a free offer. Like in this case, if you had essentially profit partner program, you could send them to like the free funnel maker software, or the free business analyzer, or the free book offer, something along those lines right there. That would actually get a free offer, but it's monetized in the back end to get you paid. So you always want to have some way to get leads or get to paid, regardless if you do something on your own or if you use that. All right, this person asks here if WebFire can work on Windows or Mac. Yes, it is web-based, but there is a desktop app that runs in the background, but that works on Windows as well as Mac, so that's all fine right there. Okay, this person asked here. Oh, great question here. All right, this person asks here, can WebFire be used to reach audiences in the US or in basically other countries? So it sounds like they're from Australia in this case. And the answer is yes. You can use it to find leads and basically traffic anywhere. In fact, you can even use a lot of the lead tools. You can search in a foreign language if you want as well. But you certainly can, on like essentially a social lead finder tool. You can use it if you want to search within a certain location, if you want to search on a global scale. You can also search from like a lot of the lead tools allow you to pick like a country if you want to search just for within a certain country. Same with basically keyword tools. If you want to search to see what a certain country sees, you can do that. So if you want to see what the US sees, or Australia, or the UK, or South Africa, or wherever, you can do that. So yeah, that's all fine right there. There's lots of ways of doing that. Even on, I didn't show it, but on the ranking tracker, you can choose to see what your rankings look like in different countries as well. So that's really, really neat. All right. All right. Yeah, and there's a person here that if they asked if I could give an example of how I leave a message. I actually did show an example of that on essentially the Q&A site one that I had probably in the first half of the demo. But the same method would apply to like any of those. So you want to give basically value first and foremost, and then if a link to a free offer of yours or an offer of yours makes sense, you would leave it then after giving value. If it doesn't make sense, you would have it either in like a bio or have a link to like a blog post or like a video of yours where you then mention, later, your free offer or your paid offer. All right. All right, there's a person asked here on basically the Q&A site, they saw that I could change essentially my bio info. They asked how. When you do a post on there, on most of the Q&A sites, there is a link next to your name and where you can basically edit your info, and that's just where you basically change it. Super, super easy. All right. All right. Richard, yeah, if you write the support on WebFire, they can definitely help you with that right there. Without seeing it, I wouldn't know. It might just be something with like the, essentially app in the background, but that should be a pretty easy fix if they know all that info. All right, there was a question here on like leads and basically privacy and all that stuff. So like, if there's a lead that basically posts on like a forum, you're not violating any privacy by like replying to that lead, on the forum. So if someone has a post on like a forum or they have a post, on social media, you're responding on the platforms. It's not like you're separately, reaching out and stuff like that. So it's kind of like they're, if you do a post on a forum or you have the option to have basically comments, you're expecting people to write back. So it's not like they're like, whoa, where did you come from? So that's nothing to be too worried about there, I wouldn't think. All right. So there's a bunch of questions here. I see Sharon and Sean have been answering a lot of them in the chat as well. All right, there's a person asked here, can WebFire work for local businesses? Absolutely. In fact, even easier, because it's super easy to rank for local business terms. And there's also stuff like the local business schema and all that stuff. So, I mean, absolutely. In this example demo that we gave is specifically on how to drive traffic to one of those offers in the Partner Profit program, but you definitely can have that be done for anything. All right, and yes, when you do a search with any of the keywords on like the lead tools, the search terms that you use can make a major difference. So you want to try to use what I call like the everyday language of the people. And you don't want, it's like a fine line between going like too broad or too narrow. If you go too broad, you can sometimes get a ton of leads that you have to spend a little more time to kind of weed through. If you go too narrow, it's like how many people really search for that each day. Like, for instance, if you're searching for those that were like looking to buy like a house, on basically Tweet Lead Finder or something. You could have a search phrases like house hunting, searching for homes, or searching for new home, or something along those lines. Moving soon, something like that. Whereas if you had a search phrase, which I've seen guys do, if you had a search phrase like looking to buy a house in Madison, Wisconsin, probably no one is going to use that exact phrase more than like once a year, because like no one talks like that, and no one specifically uses like all those phrases side by side. So just keep that in mind. But they're definitely there to help as well. So like if you need suggestions, just shoot them an email, just support@webfire.com. Let them know what you're trying to search for, what phrases you've used, and they can definitely help you out with that. All right. This person asks here, if I were to start over, what model and strategy would I use to start earning money? Well, one of the easiest things is to use, an existing funnel or offer. Like if you had to start over brand new, I would maybe start like, again, what the Profit Partner Program was meant for was to give guys an easy way to, drive leads to basically pages that have a free offer that lead to optimized funnels and other offers and stuff like that there. So that kind of lets you learn the ropes, lets you get in like your own traffic and leads, lets you make money at the same time, and then later on you can also use those same leads that you have if you want to sell them basically other stuff. So if you want to sell a service of yours, if you also want to use like WebFire to start like an SEO service, you could get familiar with WebFire and SEO in like a single day easily. And you could be like an SEO specialist and use WebFire to help do all the stuff to get other guys ranked or to sell other guys, leads and stuff like that. And that's the kind of business where, a single sale again could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases right there. All right. All right, the question here was, what search term would I use for individuals with an injury, like sports injury? It depends which of the lead software tools you're using. If I was using basically like the Tweet Lead Finder, something like, I know these would get a ton because I've seen it and I've actually done these. If you do like hurt my back, hurt my shoulder, throughout my back, something along those lines would get a lot of leads. Whereas like if there's like a specific medical term, there'd be some, but a lot less. So phrases like that. In fact, I used to actually do a demo of a search for like hurt my back pain, stuff like that. And there's literally like thousands of leads a day on that. A lot of people are in back pain and stuff. So yeah, that's one way that you can start right there. Now, if you're using like the ranked lead finder or stuff like that, the same words would probably work well there as well. But you also could do some longer specific terms that you could attempt to rank for as well. All right, this person asked here, how would they use WebFire for an ad agency business? Oh, easy. You can use it like an SEO business where you find those that need SEO and you can help do that work for them with it, or you can use it to help drive basically traffic or rankings to like any kind of offer you want, regardless if it's one inside the Profit Partner Program or one of your own or whatever you want for like a client of yours. Yeah, lots of ways. And we actually have training inside of WebFire on how to actually do all that stuff as well. All right, I think I answered all the questions. If there's anything I missed, you can feel free to write support@webfire.com, and they can definitely help you out there. I see one other question just popped up here. All right, this question is here, how will they use WebFire to help find basically providers for drop shipping or find those that are interested? Well, there's a few different ways there. One, you could use either the backlink tool to find some. You could use ranked lead finder. You could use even the Tweet Lead Finder would find some that are basically asking about drop shipping. So yeah, there's several different ways that you could find some there. as well. If you're searching for actual providers, I mean, I'd say just like a Google search would probably find a lot of providers out there. You know, assuming you don't have to go through thousands, like if you're just searching for like a couple, and then to find like those that are interested, you know, in it, I would use the lead software tools inside of WebFire, like basically Tweet Lead Finder and Rank Lead Finder and Real-Time Lead Finder, to find some that are basically talking about it or asking questions on drop shipping. If you're serious about it, you can write support, like if you want to deal with, like, let's say hundreds to thousands of leads of like drop shipping places, like if you're in like basically, you know, essentially the B2B market or the basically business to business leads. We do have a lead software tool called Macro Leads, which can find, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of business leads, which would work great if that's what you're doing, but that might be basically overkill if you're just looking for like a couple there. But yeah, that's one way that you could do that, and just feel free to write support@webfire.com and they could help you with that as well. All right. With that, guys, looked like we wrapped up, but once more, if I missed anything or if you have any questions, feel free to write support@webfire.com and they'd be happy to help you right there. And hope you guys got some value. Hope you got to see, like, you know, how I would go about marketing some stuff and just getting some traffic. The key is to just take some action, even if it's like 15 minutes a week just to start with, to kind of get all those different traffic sources and stuff. You just pick like one or basically 2 or 3 to start with, to kind of get them flowing into whatever offers you have, regardless if you use like a profit partner program funnel or not. And of course, if you want to check out any of those offers, feel free to. The links are on the screen, which is just getwebfire.com/now. You can see like a replay on that and a special offer pricing. Or to see the partner profit program, you can go to getcallinfo.com/partner and get all that info right there, and a replay of that, which we'll have up for a short time as well. So with that, guys, any questions, again, feel free to reach out at support@webfire.com or support@firstratesupport.com as well. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll basically talk with you guys later. Thanks.